Suge Knight was going to buy us. Suge Knight was going to put Run-DMC on Death Row Records.
Death Row proper, they were starting
Death Row. He was going to,
not Death Row East.
DMC, no, he's going to put us on Death Row. We had a meeting with him at the Beverly Hills.
Big Daddy Kane had the meeting.
Oh, we had the Beverly Hills.
Would you would have rocked his Death Row chain?
No.
Okay.
I don't think we would have had to neither.
Okay.
We had a meeting with Suge. This was like when Death Row was
right at their height.
Before the downfall of it.
I do remember these rumors. Okay?
You know what I'm saying? And we sat there with him, and he said, I'm probably off what's that? Yo, Run-DMC, I mean a lot to this culture. And they said, you got to say something about Suge Wright. Suge Wright, he had right intention, because every time I see him, remember Eric, he used to just show up and come and sit down and say, man, when y'all used to come here, huh?
He's the cookie?
No, this was in a sushi restaurant. Or it was at the Mondrian Club or whatever. Okay. And he said, yo, we were just amazed. And he said, Suge said this, we were just so amazed that when your cast came here from New York, and he said this, we were just so amazed to see how y'all stuck together. Because remember, Run-DMC, LL, we moved together. It was just something about,
Beastie Boys? Was Beastie Boys a part of it?
Yeah. But and he talked about that. But he said he was going to buy us, bring us to Death Row, because he says Death Row, we at the top right now, and y'all should be with the top row, that whole shit. And then somebody else had told me, that motherfucker was doing that shit so he could fucking take the kings from the East and throw it in their face. Yo, I don't even got your Run-DMCs. Now, I didn't think about it like that.
I don't think so.
You know what I'm saying?
Because he did that with Hammer too, where he brought Hammer. I mean, Hammer's on the West, but I think he genuinely appreciated.
No, he did the 2-3 times that I sat with Suge personally, with no rah-rah, I didn't see all of that. He generally was they wanted to have the thing I talked about that we were doing with hip hop outside of the business. So I think Suge wanted to have Run-DMC as the holy grail.
It's like the ultimate trophy.
Right.
If you're a hip hop head and you have power and money, what's the ultimate trophy?
Run-DMC, and I gave him a lot of money.
You know what it is. Hit that like and subscribe. Let me know where you're all from in the comments below. But let's jump right into this. Suge Knight, he attempted to sign Run-DMC to the Death Row Records. DMC is telling us recently. And, on Death Row Records, and by the legendary crew out of their deal with Arista Records in the 90s, now says DMC. Now, Daryl McDaniels recently stopped by Drink Champs at one point during the episode. He reflected on his meetings with Suge and revealed that his group nearly joined the West Coast label at the height of its popularity. Now, Suge was going to put Run-DMC on Death Row Records, but DMC remembered we had a big meeting at Beverly Hills Hotel. This was before the downfall of the label. We sat there with him, and he said, I'm going to buy you off Arista. You're in a Run-DMC. You all mean a lot to this culture. Now, Suge Knight had right intentions. He used to just show up and come and sit down. He said, we were just so amazed when y'all cats came from New York. We were so amazed to see how y'all just stuck together. And, the hip-hop icon said that while some people around him questioned Suge Knight's motivation to bring Run-DMC into the Death Row fold, he believed that Suge wanted the group for historical and artistic reasons. He said he was going to bring us to Death Row because we at the top right now, and y'all should be at the top, he said. I think Suge wanted to have Run-DMC as the holy grail. Now, these days, Suge Knight is still making headlines from behind the bars on his Collect Calls and his podcast, put out by Dave Mays. But on a recent episode, Suge recalled throwing money around carelessly in the Death Row heyday. As an example, he pointed to giving $350,000 to Roger Troutman to hop on California Love. And the minute Roger walked into that studio, I gave him 50 racks, cash off the top. Now, he said before explaining that the Zapp legend was facing financial hardships at the time, the minute he told him the situation, I gave him another 100 racks. So I gave him 150 racks before he even hooked up on the talk box, he was saying, And he said that went in that and made magic because I brought him in to make the magic. So when Roger did that, I gave him another 200 grand just to be in the video that made California Love. So Pac wrote his verse, J-Flex wrote Dre's verse. And, that's what Suge Knight's trying to say. But another thing that is interesting is that DMC acknowledges Pete Rock, for saving Run-DMC in the 90s and how he brought them back. Daryl Matthews McDaniels grew up in Queens, New York. Along the way, he met Jason Jam, Master J, Mizzle, who was known as a DJ in the neighborhood, and around the 8th grade, DMC was introduced to Joseph Run Simmons. The trio would later form a group called Run-DMC and skyrocket to fame in the 1980s. Now, as a unit, they hold many firsts, such as the first to have a rap album go gold, Run-DMC, the first hip-hop ground and group to go platinum. Now, King of Rock, the first rappers to have a multi-platinum selling album. They were raising the hell, the first to have their music videos played on MTV, and on top of many more notable feats. They became the first MCs to sign an endorsement deal with the sports company Adidas. Now, their legacy is far too dense to stuff into one sit-down, but DMC, an icon and now comic book creator, does a great job at talking through the highlights of it all throughout this Drink Champs discussion. To summarize below, the 9 major takeaways that we're going to talk about, and one of them is going to be on the success of Run-DMC. Run-DMC emerged as one of the biggest acts in music during the 1980s. According to DMC, that was intentional. Our thing was to be the best DJs and MCs that people would ever see forever, he said. Now, DMC also revealed the key to the group's success. We took the beat from the street and put it on TV as it is, in its form. No explanations to it, he added. And when we was doing that, we knew we were representing the culture. And Jay was like, we always gotta watch what we say, and we would never go for anything fake. Now, while talking about the new heights that they were able to reach, DMC voiced nobody had ever seen what we did in hip-hop because the people before us that created it didn't do it. And, Mel and Grandmaster Caz and all of them was mad at us when we first came out. And that right there is just some recent news of what they're talking about on their height of their success. In the greatest period in hip-hop, this past summer, hip-hop celebrated its 50th anniversary as a pioneer of the genre, and on that note of making beat jams like Sucker MCs, DMC chimed in on the momentous landmark with his thoughts on the best era. The greatest period in hip-hop is the history before recorded rap, he said. Think about it. The 50th celebration of hip-hop only celebrated record making. It wasn't the 50th anniversary of hip-hop. It was the 50th anniversary of recorded rap. It wasn't about DJing, king, breakdancing, graffiti, and all that. And the whole, and on creating Jam Master J's stage name after the trio made Hard Times, they grew more popular on a national scale, and naturally fans became eager to know who the DJ was in the